Hey there, it's Patmos and nice of you to join me for the continuing adventures with our somewhat beautiful town in Ostriv. And well, we are busy trying to build a bit of the clothing industry zone. Yeah, we're zoning actually, so this is the zone for the clothing industry. We already have some stuff in here. We are creating some pieces of cloth or textile, and from that we make clothing, so that's good, that works. We are also going to end up with a fulling mill and trying to get some warm clothing, but for that we also need sheep. Now, so far I've been looking around for some empty spaces to put the sheep, but Squid gave me a perfect idea in the comment section that we could try and get some sheep in the areas for the hay dryers. And I guess that is a good idea. That's what we're going to try. So we'll remove the hay dryers. That gives us some space for sheep. And we'll just have to get a few extra hay dryers then, of course. But that should not be so hard. So hopefully now we can actually just build a few sheep farms here. Now we can just build one on this side and one on this side. And I think that should be sufficient for now. 2 big sheep farms. There's a water source close by here, and the dairy is close by, and the sheep farms will also get milk to it and wool to this area, so they're strategically placed very well. I like that. So this should be a good addition to town. Now, of course, we have to do something with those hay dryers. Oops, that's the charcoal pit. So let's start just by setting up a few hay dryers here. I'm not sure if this is the most ideal spot for them, but for now, at least it is a spot, so that's a good thing to know. Now, they won't be working right now because it's winter time, of course. There's no mowing season, but as soon as mowing season starts, they can be filled up with hay if we have enough people available. Hopefully we have. And then we should get, well, first of all, we're getting some extra housing, then we get the slaughterhouse. I think we should move up 1 sheep farm, simply because as soon as a trader comes in with sheep, we can then start to fill it up. Now, the sheep will also eat hay. Here we have a big hay barracks that they also use for the cows, so that's okay. The good thing with the sheep is they can also walk on the fallow fields, restore some of the fertility, and that means also that we only have to feed them in the barn during the winter time, which is only 3 months. So that should work out fine. We do not have to get too big amounts of food for that. So that should be okay. What I am going to do, however, is build another big hay barracks. Pass it into this little piece of town, or like this, I think. So that the sheep farms can actually get to it and make use of it. I think that's a good idea. Now, in order to make it look very good, or at least make it look a bit better than it does right now, we are going to put some fencing up here, of course. Oh, that's not the right fencing. Sometimes I just have to take a quick look to see which fencing I was using again. I guess this should be slightly longer. Maybe just like this. And then like this. So we actually fence off the area with the hay barracks. I think that's good. What we can also do is fence this off just a little bit. Like this. So we create actual entrances to those areas. Let's see, right there. And then we'll put it up until here. So this is the opening for the hay barracks. We could even make that a tiny bit smaller. That's okay. We'll do the same here to create some sort of a road area, because that's basically what I like a lot, if we get these little road areas. This is the opening for this sheep place, and we'll just do it like this. So now they'll have to walk like this. I think we need to shorten this one slightly for this area to look a little better. Just go like this. So we get a little bit more of an opening here for them to use as the road. But now at least all the areas will be fenced off. I like that. We have a messenger from Merefa. I am going to buy some more weed because we can really use it. Let's buy a little bit extra warm clothing. And yeah, we don't have anything to sell to them at this point. We do still have 8,000 buckwheat, 4,000 potatoes, 750 flour. So on that front we're doing good. We have the food variety we need. And we provide them with those little resources. Now they're building this house. Hopefully a few nice families will live here and make everybody happy with their arrival. Here we have the orchard. Still only one. Plants are a year old, so that's good. Still removing a lot of trees from this one to make sure that we actually get the second orchard. But in the end we will. I have no concern about that. We can see that this one has a lot of logs in it though, so might take some time. Can't wait for this house to be done because then we get to the sheep farm, the first one. And that should give us the time to fill that one up with people, make sure that all the resources are there, and then hopefully soon we can start to get the first sheep in. Now, I've been known for being a bit unlucky with the trades, so there's a good possibility that a trader with sheep will come in now, and he'll be disappearing before we get the actual sheep farm, but oh well, we'll deal with it. Well, we are producing textiles, and we have clothing to spare. I like that. Are we selling clothing already? Yeah, we are. Alright, that's good. Cheese and smetana. I don't think we're producing... Yeah, we're producing cheese and smetana. Alright. So that's what we're selling here then. Alright, this looks good. And hopefully we can just keep it up. Then we need these 3 houses to be ready. And then we really need to start focusing on expanding our actual town a bit too with more housing. Right now we do have all these neighborhood housing, but well, this is an industrial area. So we need to go this way, I think, for some more housing. Although the people that work here also need houses. So we could just build a little neighborhood here and then make the next industry part here. So that we start filling this up with housing. Here we get the row housing and stuff. That could be something. That could be something. Alright, the house is done. Let's get working with the sheep farm. They're collecting the resources now. That should work out. Might even be so that as soon as a trader comes in now, we can actually already buy the sheep and then it will be done in time. But I'm not 100% sure, so we're not going to do that. We can see that this farm's almost done sowing. This farm is done sowing, so both of our farms are quite productive with that. That works. The thing is, we're going to need an extra farm soon to make sure that we really provide for all the people. We can keep our eyes on it now. We still have 3,600 potatoes, 7,700 buckwheat, so we should be okay for a while. And hopefully we can bring in the amounts of food that we want. That should work out. And of course we have little gardens, so they grow some of their own food, at least some of the houses. So that should help out a bit too, but how are we doing? Burning complete, burning complete. Would be nice if they would empty this one out, because then they yeah, it's totally stocked up on charcoal, which is good. And we have a lot of nails. Yep, we have 1,000 in here. And we have 1,000, yeah, we have 1,000 in here. So, plenty of nails there. I think we should just expand the amount that we have, because we can use more and more and more. I don't think we can ever have enough. Stone mining camp is busy. Carpenter doing a good job. Just 17 trees left, so they chopped down another 4 there. And oh boy, they should really hurry up with this. Let's go to a little bit speed 3. There we go. Messenger from Merefa again. So there will be no sheep there, but there's some hemp that we can use Right now we have only 12 hemp and we have no flax left, so there's no way they can create any textile at this point. So this building is also useless. So if we can increase the input, which means more flax and more hemp, then we can also increase the amount of clothing that we get. Now we have sufficient amounts, but having some to maybe sell every now and then could also work out. Alright, it's still not mowing season, so we'll have to wait a bit longer, but then we should see good amounts of hay come in. They're really busy with the sheep farm now. They actually started constructing, even though quite a few resources are still incoming. That should give us time to build a few more houses in this little area. I think it's time to make them go a little bit the other way again. Let's hit the F1 button. Let's swing around so that we create some sort of a street here. I think we should go with slightly bigger gardens. And we'll put the house a bit more in front. Yeah, so not too wide gardens, but they should be quite long so that they can actually grow some food on their backyard. We'll put it on the side here, as far to the front as possible. There we go, first house. Let's get another one going. We're still going to need a lot of housing, so might as well just plan it. Why not? Alright. Guess this is good. That's the second one. Maybe we should leave it with a row of 4 this time. Not just 3, but put in 4 houses. Alright, we have to remove this one because I didn't put the house into the front as far as I wanted to. So let's move it forward as far as we can. Yes, this is better. 1, 2, 3. We'll just do it the other way around too. Let's hit the F1 button. A few houses with bigger gardens won't hurt, and I think with the extra food that they will create for themselves, we should be better off. One adult eats about 100 food in a year. So the more they can grow themselves, the easier it is for us, of course, to get all the food that we need. And I got tipped off in the last stream by trying to build the houses a little bit more in front of the garden. Because if you place them at the back, there will be a road leading towards the house where they can't sow in. And if we place this as far to the front as possible, we make the area to be used for a road as small as possible. So we could get a slightly higher yield from houses like this. Now, I'm not 100% sure. I still have to do some real calculations on it. But it's an interesting idea, and I would like to see if it's working or not. So we'll get to that at a certain point. Let's build a little well there. As we can see, a messenger from Balaklia with sheep. Let's get the sheep and 1 ram. We'll just wait a bit because he's visiting for a few more days. Let's set this up. Yes, let's pause. Let's properly set this up. So we'll get workers in there, as many as we can. And we'll tell them to stock up on 500 hay and 500 water. And as soon as we can see people actually get in and starting to collect the goods, we're going to buy the sheep. It will take some time for the sheep to actually go here. So we do have a little bit of time to spare. But as we can see right now, yeah, there comes the first worker. That's good. Because we really need to get workers in order to get the goods. So I think we're safe to buy sheep. He's only here for 2 more days. So if we want to get the sheeps and the ram, you should buy it now. So let's do so. Yeah, we're not going to sell any of this. Alright, there we go. They should now be able to just get the goods in that we need. Yep, first hay incoming. Water is close by. Yep, there comes the first water. They can use a fallow field as soon as the sheep arrive. So we should now get the first sheepies, which will be very useful to us. They'll have to reproduce, of course, to fill up this little sheep farm. But when they do, it will really help us. And then we can also switch a few over to the other one, so we don't have to buy any more sheep, which will save us money. So this is nice. All right, let's see. Let's build a few trees in here if we can. I do like the pine tree. I thought I should switch to another one, but I like the pine tree. There's no other tree or whatever that we can put in, so we'll do it like this. Let's just decorate the area a little bit. Alright, they're fully stocked. There are the sheep. They're immediately going to their field, so they should be good. More and more fields now get their fertility restored quickly with all these animals that we have. So that's all moving in the right direction. We now have a slaughterhouse. I'm not going to put people in there because we are not slaughtering animals yet. But as soon as we do, we'll put people in there. That also means that we can start to produce shoes once we start to... Oh no, we need to tan first. Alright, so that's where the tannery comes in. Oh, that's going well. Now we can also see that the orchard is ready. I'm going to move it over. All the trees have been removed, which is excellent. This is probably, yeah, 81 trees in there, so this is fully stocked up. That's okay. And that means we can grow some extra food. Wow, this is a stowaway tree, I guess. This one now has plants in it for 2 years. So I think next year we'll get the first harvested, not this year. But should be interesting to see next year if we can get some sort of an okay harvest out of it. This should provide extra food though, which is very helpful. Yeah, she's in there working, but she's not collecting any fruits right now, so I don't think there will be any fruits in there soon. First house with a nice garden comes out. I have to say, I like this too. The ones with some sort of self-created garden without the actual food they're growing themselves. With those flowers in front, I really like the way it looks. Those are amazing buildings. And especially now with all the colors coming in, I wish there were more colors to be added to different bushes. It just looks really nice. If we just take a shot like this, this is a city builder that looks amazing and you can build beautiful towns with it. You just have to put some effort into it, but then you can. Alright, let's buy a little bit more weed. And maybe we should try and get into the salt production. It's still quite a bit away, so we don't have to get into it that quickly. We need a hay barracks, by the way. But at least if we start to plan it, we can see where the salt actually is. And once we get the salt, we'll have an easy exporting good. And right now we can see that the salt is already right here. There's no houses here, there's all the industry. So why not build the salt works straight here? I think this is a good spot for the salt works. Let's just lay it down. Very nice. And we can see that the hay dryers are filled up, which means that we at least had the people to start filling them up. It appears right now we don't have the people to actually empty them all out. Or maybe we do, but this is filled up. So we need the hay barracks to be ready so that they can store more hay in there. But I think we'll have plenty of hay for all the animals to survive for the winter. And it's ripening time, getting close to sowing time. Or sowing time, harvesting time. Let's get some good food in. I see good fields, big yields. 3 out of the 8 fields fallow. That's quite a bit much, but that should mean that next year there are not so many fallow, so that's good. Here's only 3 fields too, but this is a very small field, so... oh, they were not in time with sowing, I guess. That's a bit weird. They should have had time to sow it in, because these were done fairly quickly. Well, it's okay. They're starting to harvest. Get in some hemp that we use for the clothing industry. Messenger from Derkachi. Let's sell some charcoal. There we go. Deal. Not anything else to sell at this point. Could buy some iron there, and we are out of iron, so let's just buy 750 straight. That's it, not going to buy anything else. As this hay barracks is ready, we can already see that they're putting in new hay. I think most people will now work on farms though, and to ensure they will... Yeah, this is up to 130%, that's good. So once they get a laborer job and they want to do labor work, they will go to the farms because they pay the best. So the harvest should be coming in. Yep, this field's almost ready. These are very busy, very good. Well, this is working too. A lot of ladies doing this job. It's only 100% pay. Interesting why they would go here and do this and not just go work on the farms. Did we set this one up too? Yeah, 130%. Okay, interesting. I guess it's a few ladies that live too far away to actually work on the farm, but live close by enough to work on these hay barracks, because these are not serviced now. So there's a few ladies somewhere in town here that don't have a job, can work here, but this is a bit too far. Plenty of people working in here. We still have 8,000 buckwheat, or already have 8,000 buckwheat again. I think we should be okay for a bit. Second house is coming along. The third one gets his resources already. I think it's time for the construction office. Then we can build a lot faster because we'll have a lot more people actually doing that. If we go to government and we find our construction office, we can see that we don't have one yet. If we build one, we can hire more builders. Now this whole area will be our main building area soon. So we can build it right here and move it on later on. This is just a temporary building. We'll just place it here. Once it's done, we'll load it up with men. I think... Yeah, we'll leave it like it is. Although we don't have the workers for it. Let's move a few things over. Because we're not going to get there soon. The fulling mill we can actually use. All the rest we can move over. Because we're not going to use it soon. And we can actually use the extra houses that we're building. Tannery is also a bit too early. Do it like this. So we'll get this one, then we'll get the fulling mill, because the wool that comes from the sheep will go into the fulling mill, and that should be working like a charm soon. And then we at least get some, or we'll get some sheep skin or sheep hides in here, and then they turn it into wool, I guess. Makes broadcloth from wool. Oh yeah. All right. So we'll just need to get some wool from the sheep and then turn that into broadcloth. It's the end of September, so we're 1.5 years into the harvest. This farm appears to be close to ending the harvest, although there's just this part that needs to be harvested, but the rest just needs to be picked up. This one has a harder time because it's not able to hire any people. Alright, let's... We don't have seasonal hiring yet, that's the thing. Let's enable seasonal hiring. Let's get a counselor. Once we have one, we'll enable seasonal hiring, and then we can set a few places. There we have a counselor. Like this, we can tell these to have, in the off-season, have 2 people. And the off-season will be when the harvest is in. And when we're sowing. So this should be it probably. Apply to all. So now there's 2 ladies freed up. We do the same here. On the off-season, which is during the harvest and the sowing months, there will only be 2 people in there. That saves 2 workers again. I guess that's good, because that means that there's more people available to be hired on the different farms. Yep, this one is almost ready. And we can even do it in here. So in the off season, which is, when we're farming big time, so the sowing and the harvesting, there will only be 2 workers in there. And on the rest there will be 4. Same here. Let's free up these workers. All in all, it does add up, because we have 2 in here, 2 in here, 2 in here, 1 in here, 1 in here. That's 8 people available now that can extra work on the farms. That can make the difference between bringing in all of the goods in time or not. So it's a very big deal to make people available during certain times to do these jobs. And we can even do the same with the builder's office, for instance. We can tell them to just hire 4 people during the sowing and harvesting season, so that the other 3 can do a different job. It can really work out and make the difference as we are right now, because right now it's October. We have only 1 month to go to bring everything in, but everything is already in with the extra people that we had available. So that worked like a charm. We also filled up the big hay barracks already, so plenty of hay for the coming winter. I like this. Here comes the fulling mill. The animals get back to pasture. That's always a good moment. Oh, we can see they have gotten some small sheep. Well, they've gotten those fairly quick. Now we get the fulling mill. Are we getting hay already? I don't think we can get hay or wool when they are in pasture, but I'm not sure. We'll see. They also milk them when they are in pasture, so we should be able to. I don't know, maybe they wait with the wool until you have a fulling mill and you actually need it, and then they start producing wool. I don't know, but that could be the case. We also might need one of these already to store the sheep wool and the sheep hides and stuff like that. We can see that they in winter, each animal consumes 15 units of hay and water per month, so we need to provide 45 units of hay to an animal during the 3 months of winter. Which means if you have 10 animals, you need 450 units. Now we have 15 already, so we already need quite a bit more. Sheep produce milk throughout the year, but winter milk production is lower. Shearing, wool production is done every spring. Alright, so in the spring we get wool out of it. Which is good, because by then the fulling mill is ready and operational, so then we can get the wool in here and start making broadcloth out of it. I have to say, this experiment with the housing like this, placed sideways, I like it. This looks very nice. They brought good amounts of food. They're all new people, so nobody got married, which allowed for extra people to come into town. That all looks good. So we'll get 1, 2, 3, 4 houses soon, plus some extra goods. Okay. Look at the detail of this building. Beam by beam they build it, and it looks lovely. We still have wheat. We still have 3,000 wheat. So I'm not going to buy any wheat. We still have 4,000 potatoes. So that's pretty stable as winter starts again. We have 10,000 buckwheat and 800 flour. So that all looks good. I totally forgot about the this building. Little orchard. Alright, I'm going to set this one up too. We need, on season we'll need 4 people. Off season we'll just need 1. And the off season is basically most of the year, because in the rest of the months they will need 4 people in there to actually make sure that the harvest is brought in. Doesn't say when the harvest is exactly, I believe. But yeah, it's good, it's good. Like this we save the most people, and we'll have the most people in when they really need it to bring in the harvest. So that works. Well, it's an okay development of town. It's not too fast, but we're doing okay. Oh, they're collecting reed still. for the thatch. Building the house now, all the resources are there, so some of the goods are already being brought to the warehouse, which is nice. Just a bit more wood needs to be brought in and they can start to build the warehouse too. They already started to build this house again, so we'll get there quickly. You can see people really using the benches here. That's a nice one too. Well, not too many are actually being used, but every now and then we can see somebody coming in, sitting on the bench and then leaving after a while. Here comes another house. It should be quite cold in the house now with all the snow in there. So as soon as it's done, the people should get some firewood and make sure that the house warms up and dries up before they actually move their stuff and put in the beds and things. Guess it wouldn't hurt to start as soon as you can with the roof before you do the interior, but that's not how this game works. There we go. Just a bit of thatch on the roof. There we are. Ah, family got married. Interesting. Well, they're going to buy some goods straight off. And now we get this warehouse. Oh, they're already building it. They're waiting for some wood to arrive and then they can continue building it. There comes the wood, I guess. Yep. All the wood is there. They should all be coming in now to build it. Supplying resources. Ah, there's more wood incoming. Constructing a building. Alright, let's start setting this up for the whole fulling mill. So in here, we're going to need sheep hides. We're going to put in sheep skin. We need to put in wool. We can also put some of the broadcloth in here. Or is it already going to be in here? No, because it doesn't fit. So we'll also put in the broadcloth here. So that at least everything is in here. Now if we only have these 500 each, that up together at 10,000, and that's exactly what we need in here, so that should work. Let's do apply to all and apply to all, then we should get a worker in here. Yes, probably nothing to collect yet, but that might not take too long because during the spring we'll get the wool in. I think I'm going to put workers in here too, because then we can get the wool as soon as it's available. Messenger from Mereva, that's nice, but we don't need anything there. Still have plenty of flour, things like that. Potatoes, yeah, that's all good. Not going to slaughter any animals yet, so nobody needs to be put into the slaughterhouse. I really hope we can do a good sow in soon. Yeah, it's February now, so soon we'll get into another year. We're 6 years in the game. We have 176 people. Don't have that much money, but that should not be too much of a hindrance. It's fine. And we're getting more and more pieces of the clothing industry up, as we also continue with the housing. So I'm quite happy just the way it is. All the resources are being brought for the well, then they can start to build that. Kind of hoping, yep, they're already bringing resources for the village house too. Wish we could get the construction office already, but I don't think we have any real people to start working in there, so that ain't no good. And we're getting close to another start of sowing season, but it's also been way over half an hour. We had fun, but it's time to end this episode. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to my channel. Leave all your comments in the comment section. I will respond to them. And then, of course, I hope to see you in a brand new video. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.